Yeah, so I just thought I'd come on and talk about a little bit about me and how I got into tarot and the journey that I'm on at the minute in regards to my twin flame. So I first discovered tarot probably when I was about 22, I'd say. And I was at my friend's house and her mum started telling me all this stuff about people that had passed over, and I didn't know at the time she was actually a medium. She was a psychic, and she was telling me all this stuff and what's going to happen and something's coming in, and she was naming names, and I was like, well, how does she know all this stuff? And I remember going home and telling my mum about it. And saying, oh, she said this, and my mum was like, oh, right, yeah, okay, like, very skeptical. Anyway, the week later, what she actually told me was going to happened, and me and my mum both witnessed it. So me and my mum was like, oh my God, like, what's going on here? So that's probably the first time I've ever really thought about tarot or psychics or anything like that. And then I started to have readings, and every time I went for a reading, they'd say like, you're intuitive and you've got the gift, and I was just like, yeah, all right, didn't quite believe it. And to be honest with you, I have always had dreams that do come to pass. So sometimes I could dream stuff and then it would happen, it would play out. So the more it started, at first I just used to think it was a coincidence, but then the more it started happening, the more I started to think, well, actually, maybe I do, have some kind of sixth sense that not everybody has. So I ignored it for, oh God, a long time, probably about 10 years, maybe a bit less. And then I met my twin flame. Now, twin flames they're quite rare. Not everybody has a twin flame. Now, in relationships, you can either have, there's the twin flame relationship, there's the soulmate relationships, and then there's karmic relationships. So for me, when I first met my twin, instantly I felt like I knew him. It was just really weird. I couldn't explain it. I didn't really understand it at the time, to be honest with you. But I felt like I knew him, and I'd known him a long, long time. Like, I'd known him since childhood, and I started to dream about him a lot, and I couldn't understand why I kept thinking about this person and why I felt like connected to them. So I did what I always do, and I kind of just like ignored it again and just carried on, just went about my business. But then I started to get back into tarot, and I started having readings again, and this person kept coming up in my reading, and how they was describing this person, and I'm like, no, this person was with somebody else, and I was like, no, like, they're with somebody else, like, it can't be on about that person. And the more readings I had, the more this person kept coming up in my reading. So, and then I started getting like a lot more signs, like from the universe, like repetitive numbers, and my dreams were happening a lot more. So my twin had definitely triggered me in some way. And that's what they do say, like with a twin flame union, you can be spiritually triggered. So a lot of people, you deal with soulmates, like, obviously throughout your life, whether it's a romantic soulmate or soulmate, from that are friends or even family are soulmates. A soulmate is somebody that you are, that's from the same soul family. So soulmates, tend to come together, and they've probably already done work like throughout their lives, whether it be a past life, if you believe in that, or whether it's, you know, early on in the life, like during the childhood, they have completed what they was meant to do in the life. So they've obviously come into union with the soulmate. Now, I'm not saying I'm an expert on everything. I'm just talking about my journey and how I got into tarot, and how I feel like tarot might help understand, you know, the journey. Like, if you are on the twin flame journey, you know, you could resonate with my story. I'm not saying it's going to be the exact same, but it might just help a few people out there understand, you know, like what's it all about. And then also we have karmic relationships as well. So karmics are lessons. So karmics are lessons that we have to learn. So 9 times out of 10, well, you will have a karmic relationship. You might have multiple karmic relationships if you don't learn your lessons. So the universe will send you karmic relationships to learn from. Karmic relationships are not usually relationships that stay together. The relationships that happen very quick. So you might feel like, you know, you've met this person, but next thing you know, you're like either having a child with them early on, or you're living with them early on, something like that. That's what happened with me with my first karmic relationship. I had a child with mine very, very early on in the relationship. So, but obviously back then at the time I didn't understand that, and it's only been since I've got more into tarot that, you know, I've understood the path that I've been down and why I've been through what I've been through in my life. And it's because I know now I'm meant to teach other people, you know, about life lessons, and that's what I'm meant to do, I think, in my life, because I've not really had stable relationships. I've had quite a lot of karmic relationships, and I feel like I've had karmic relationships because I've had to learn the hard way of things, so then I can communicate with others and it will help others, you know, in their situation. Because, you know, I've been told I'm a healer. So healers are, you know, they come in many different forms. You know, you could be a healer if you're a nurse or a doctor or a counsellor or a physiotherapist, you know, where you're physically healing somebody. But there's also healers that are spiritual healers, you know. And I feel like, you know, because of the things that I've been through in the past, and, you know, the karmic lessons that I've had to deal with, I'm meant to use that knowledge to help others. So in a way I am kind of a healer, but not in a healer where you would go to the doctor and prescribe, you know, they just prescribe you something. Or I also feel like tarot has helped me massively with anxiety and depression, you know, meditation and things like that, and calming your mind. You know, there is a lot of self things that you can do where the doctors are not just prescribing your tablets, you know, straight away. You know, some people do need tablets. You know, I'm not taking that away from anybody. I'm one of them that I've had to take, you know, antidepressants because of the things that I've been through in my life. But now I'm coming to a point where I'm realizing that there are other ways of healing yourself, you know. So I'm going to give it a try, you know, and I am going to document my journey just to see whether it helps others, you know. And it's not a journey that's going to be overnight. So yeah, so I just want to talk again a little bit like about like the karmics, and then the soulmates, and then the twin flames. So like I said, karmics are lessons. So, you know, you could be in a karmic relation with somebody because you perhaps owe them karma. So you might have had a past life with them, and you've done something in that past life where you need to go through something in this life to clear the karma. So you'll often find, like, because I know a question I get asked a lot is, how do you know the difference between karmics, soulmates, and twin flames? And I've had one of each. Well, I've had more than one of each. So, like I say, I'm not an expert on it. I'm not trying to like sit here and say, you know, I know everything, because I don't. I'm just trying to explain my situation, and, you know, on the hope that it might help somebody else, like on their journey. So, karmic connections, like I say, you'll often find they're often quite the connections that come together very quick. So you might meet somebody and it's an instant attraction, you know, it's very passionate, the connection will be very passionate, you know, there'll be a lot of sex, and, you know, like, it evolves very quickly. Like, before you know it, you're like in this situation and you're like, how the hell did I get here? You know, it's more lust than love. And a lot of people confuse love and lust. You know, so like signs for me, like when, you know, you're in a karmic relationship, it could be things like your money's suffering as a consequence. You know, you might be losing money, or your money might be tied up in things and you can't get access to it. You know, so you're not as free as you want to be. You know, you could feel down all the time, and you just feel like, you know, you're not sleeping and you're just not feeling well in yourself. That is the universe's way of saying, you know, you're in a karmic relationship, and once you've learned your karma, it's all right for you to leave. It's all right for you to move on, because the karmic connection that you're in now, you're a karmic for each other. So your person that you're with, they will learn from you as you are learning from them. So they will then go off, because they've learnt their lessons from you. They will then go off and be in a relationship that might be, it could be a soulmate, it could be a twin flame, but they have learnt them lessons from you. So then they can use them lessons to evolve in a relationship, because karmic relationships are not relationships that are meant to last. They will not last forever. People might pretend that they do, but they do not last. And you'll often feel very like you feel like you've been battered when you've come out of a karmic relationship, because you've just been through so much. But like I said, once you've left that, your person that you're in a karmic relationship with can go on then and be with somebody else and have a fulfilled relationship, and you can then go on your path, because you've learned your lessons, and then you can have a fulfilled relationship. So, you know, if a lot of people, like I say, if you've ever been in a bad relationship, or you've ever been in a relationship where you were losing money, or you were just getting a lot of bad luck, you weren't feeling yourself, you know, you felt controlled, that will be a karmic relationship. So it won't last forever. It's just, karmic is something that you learn from, and then you evolve and you move on. So then you've got soulmates. So, you know, soulmates is like the one that everybody's heard about. You know, it's like, oh yeah, he's my soulmate, or she's my soulmate. And, you know, it's probably the best connection out of the three of them, because the twin flame one is really hard. It's a really hard journey, but the soulmates is probably, like I've said before, somebody that you've come into union with when you've already learned your lessons. So before you've you know, you might have had like all your karmic lessons, and then you meet your soulmate and that's it, and your soulmate might be on their path where they've learned all their lessons. So the relationship is like your soulmate, and then you're just together and you get married and you have children and things like that. Oh yeah, and before I forget, karmic relationships can involve children as well, because money and children are very, very karmic. So, you know, chances are, if you've been in a relationship that you've got children with and you're not with that person, chances are there was some kind of karma to clear with that person, where you were to have children with them, but you're meant to be connected to them forever, but you're not meant, because you've got children together, but you're not meant to be together forever in a romantic sense, if that makes sense. So yeah, so like I was saying, so with soulmates, I take a drink of my tea because my throat's getting dry. With soulmates, you know, it's usually people that have learnt the lessons and then they're in union, you know, they're in alignment, sorry, with each other on each other's path. So when they come together, it's, you know, you get engaged and you get married and you have children. It's that kind of, you know, it's the relationship really that everybody wants, you know. And I've had soulmate like relationships in the past, and I've always ended up doing something to sabotage it. I don't know why, you know. I'm probably still learning that lesson now. You know, I've had people like that if I'd have stayed with them, I probably would be married now. You know, I'd be married and I'd be probably happily married. But in the back of my mind, I was always searching for something more. And I'm not saying that I wasn't happy in my soulmate relationships that I've had. I weren't happy in my karmic. I was for a time, but then obviously once the karma started to kick in, I wasn't. But then once, you know, when I was in the soulmate connection, I just never felt fulfilled. And it wasn't because they weren't treating me right or I wasn't happy. There was just something that it just wasn't there. So anyway, then this moves on to twin flames. So twin flames are quite rare, you know. It's probably a term that not everybody's heard of. So twin flames is somebody that has the same soul. So when you're incarnated on earth, you have the same soul, but your soul is split into two. So hence that's why it's a twin. So it's somebody that you have it's from the same soul, not the same soul family like soulmates are. Soulmates are people that are from the same soul family. Twin flames is the same soul, but it's split into two. So, you know, your twin, you don't have to incarnate, like you don't have to be born on earth like at the same time. Like your twin could be older than you, younger than you, you know, but you have a joint mission in life as a twin. So you'll probably find that when you're in a soulmate connection, a twin flame connection, usually you'll find that when you come into union with, you know, when you first meet your twin, usually one of you or both of you will be in relationships with other people. But for some reason or other, your paths will just keep bringing you. So no matter what you do, or, you know, the universe will always bring you back into this path with your twin. It's like magnets, you know. You'll keep coming together. And obviously, maybe at the time when it's happening, you might not realise that, you know. Like for me, it's only now when I reflect back and I know more about, you know, the soulmate journeys and what they mean, is where I can think, oh yeah, well that's why that has happened, or that's why this has happened. So like I said, when I met my twin, he was already in a relationship. I don't think I was. No. He was already in a relationship, but I wasn't at the time. And like I said, I had this instant connection with him, and I couldn't understand why. Like, it was just weird. I just couldn't put my finger on it. It was something I'd never felt before. Then I said, like, you know, he started coming up in my readings and stuff like that, but I was like in denial, I think, really. But now I've come to realise that my twin is like a lot different to me. Like, I'm very spiritual, and, you know, I go off a lot of feelings and emotions and sixth sense. Like, I can usually weigh up people, you know, straight away. Like, I know if somebody's a good person or not through, like, meeting them, like, pretty much instantly. Now, my twin's a lot different. My twin's, like, he's very earthly, he's very grounded, he's very, well, the complete opposite of me, but You know, the twin flame is that yin and yang. So it's, you balance each other out. So I will open up my twin to become more empathic, you know, and in touch with his own feelings and his feelings like to help others, because chances are you both are put on this earth because you're meant to help people in some way or another. So you might find that your twin is in a profession that's some kind of healing profession. It might be different to what yours is, you know, because yours might be more spiritual, but theirs might be more grounded and earthly, or, you know, like they could be a doctor, they could be a chiropractor, you know, a nurse, anything that's, it could, they're a healer in some respect, and you both have a joint mission to do together. So what'll happen is, like, they'll go and be in their karmic relationships, I'll be in my karmic relationships, and then once we've learned everything, that's when you'll come into union with your twin flame. Now, I do want to say, you won't always come into your union with your twin flame, because everybody's got free will. So like with me, I know now I've done my work. I've done what I need to do. So I know that if my twin doesn't align with me, and he doesn't come to the realization that I am his twin, then he will, chances are he will probably just go into karmic after karmic after karmic relationship. Now, my twin, like, I'd never say this to my twin, like, my twin doesn't know that, because that's something they have to realise for themselves. You know, if he doesn't do his work, his karma will then repeat on him then throughout this life, and then it will probably repeat again throughout his next life, and then my soul will then come back because he's not done his work. So do you get what I mean? It's like, it's cycles repeating. But because I've done my work in this life, that would mean I can then go on and maybe have a soulmate connection. So I still will have that happiness. It just means that in this life, my twin's not done his work. So, you know, because when I say work, like karmics, like relationships, you know, they teach you a lot about your ego and, you know, appearances and how things look. And once you realise that that superficial bullshit doesn't fucking matter, that is when you will start becoming who you're meant to be, and you'll come onto your right path, and then you'll have that ultimate, you know, that ultimate relationship that everybody wants. But the twin flame journey is really, really painful. It's not easy. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You know, it can be very, very hard, and it can be very hurtful. And even now, like, I still do attract karmics. You know, like, sometimes the universe will throw a karmic into my life to see whether I have learnt my lesson. And I'm only human, like, you know, I make mistakes as well. So someone could throw like a karmic in my life, or somebody from my past that I know that's not good, no good for me, but I just can't seem to resist them, because that's what happens with karmics. They're hard to resist. And then I do end up going back with them, and then I end up getting hurt. And that's just the universe's way of saying, well, that's your own fault, because you know what lesson, you know the lessons, you've learnt the lessons. And if you keep going back, this is how you're always going to feel. You're always going to feel hurt, and you're always going to be in this energy of, like, you don't feel any good. So, like I said, you know, and it's not just necessarily relationships. Like, I've had a lot of karmic friendships as well, and I've never really noticed this. I always tend to attract, and this is something like I've worked through while I've been learning tarot, like, because I said, why do I attract all these broken people? Like, why do these people, whether it be friendships, relationships, I always seem to attract the ones that are broken? And it's because I'm a healer. It's because I am meant to fix them people, but I'm also meant to learn from it as well. So then them hard lessons I've learned, I can then pass on to other people and advise other people, and obviously, hopefully, help other people. So, So yeah, I just thought I'd come on and I didn't mean to this video to be so long, but I just thought I'd come on and obviously just try and explain a little bit, you know, about the different relationships, because, you know, it is hard. And like I say, if this video can help other people understand it, because now I understand it, you know, I'm in a much better place in my life. You know, I'm more abundant, you know, I'm self-sufficient. I don't rely on anybody for anything. So when I do meet somebody, it's because I want to be with them, not because I need them. So I hope this helped. Like I said, some of you might have turned off like 3 minutes in, but, you know, if I help one person, then that's, you know, better than helping nobody. So thanks for listening, and if you want my details, just please inbox me and I will send you the link to my YouTube.